we came across a fascinating internet survey, all to do with Irish women, by the way. And what it shows is that 64% of women under the age of 30, now masturbate regularly. Okay? But only 15% will ever disclose that information to anybody in public. And here's the question. Why is this still such a taboo subject? One of the very first texts I got was, Adrian, I can't believe you're talking about this filth. This is absolutely disgusting. I'm going to complain about it. Seriously, since when did your own body become a disgusting thing to talk about? I want to really get to the bottom of this. I want to understand why a woman pleasuring herself is such a taboo subject. It's like as if, Jesus, no, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. Why? Why can't we talk about it? Give me a call right now. 6797104 is our telephone number. Nigel, you're on FM104. How are you, Nigel?
Hello, Adrian.
Now, Nigel, what do you want to say on this?
Well, I just want to say that my friend claims she does not masturbate at all. She is 21 today, and she claims she does not masturbate at all. I think she's lying, and she's just ashamed.
And you've obviously asked her, have you?
Oh, I've asked her, but she's looking at me now and she's actually smiling and laughing. But she said she doesn't, but I think she does when nobody's around.
Okay, now, like I said, this survey says that 64% of women under the age of 30 do it, but only 15% will ever admit it to anybody. So
yeah, well, I think everybody does it, but just people are ashamed. It's like.
So why? This is the bit. Okay, this is the bit I don't get. Why there is such a shame factor around this? Do you understand it?
I sort of do, because people just people look down. If you're doing anything that's not what society would have put as normal, would say over the years.
But if a bloke says he does it, nobody's going to go, oh, that's
different though. It's different for a bloke than it is for a.
Yeah, but this is exactly the point. This is what I'm trying to understand. Why is it different for a bloke?
I don't know. I can't get her to answer that question. Why is it different for a woman from a bloke? I know why it's different, but I know she won't talk to you and admit it on the air, but won't talk.
So even with this girl that you're with.
Well, I'm not with her. We're just friends.
No, yeah, but you're with her now. You're in her company. Yeah. She will not even. It's a taboo subject, basically. She doesn't even want to talk about it.
No.
So she's embarrassed to talk about it.
Yes.
Did she cringe when you even asked her the question?
Almost, yes. She's like...
Well, why would you ask me that? Oh, don't ask me that.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, here. She's looking at me and it's like, I'm getting the death stare.
This is exactly what I want to try and understand. This is exactly what I want to try and find out. Why there is such a taboo on this subject. And honestly, I've gotten a load of texts from people saying, I can't believe you're even talking about this. Seriously, why?
I don't know why people say that. Like, it wouldn't bother me. I talk about it all day long. But I suppose you need to get women on the show that claim they don't. That's what you need to do. Well,
stay there for 1 second. Terry, you're on FM104. How are you, Terry?
Hello, Adrian. How are you?
Grand, thank you, Terry.
It's been a while since I spoke to you. I've been abroad.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you.
Not at all. You're very welcome. Adrian, I actually sent in that text.
Oh, right. So you sent in one of the texts complaining that this is a disgusting topic of conversation.
Appalling. I have to say, your subjects and standards have gone really, really low and tone.
Why? What's wrong with discussing women masturbating?
Don't please choose that word. It's disgusting.
What's disgusting about it?
You're a grown man, Adrian. I'm a woman. I'm a lady.
Yeah.
I'm not one of your common or garden people. I've told you off about this before. You know that this is. You know that man that spoke about his friend.
Yeah.
The reason she doesn't want to go on radio or doesn't do those things is because she has self-respect. Where or what part of life do people not understand self-respect? It's a dirty, filthy thing to do.
Okay, so
Be it from
no, hang on for 1 second, Terry. What is wrong with us discussing this topic?
Because it's filthy.
It's filthy.
It's filthy.
And is it not the most natural thing in the world?
It's appalling.
Is it not something that you've probably done yourself?
I beg your pardon. I've told you quite enough about my life, but I'm certainly not going to just go bedroom gymnastics or anything else with you.
Why are you ashamed of it?
I don't do it.
You don't do it?
No.
Have you ever done it?
No, not that I can recall.
Not that you can recall. And you think it's shameful that we're even discussing it?
And I think that man that rang about that young girl that is a friend of his, she is what I would call a young lady. A young lady. I'm a little more mature, but she is a young lady. She has breeding. If she takes my advice, and I would urge her to, I would urge her to take my advice. Get away from him. He's a bad influence. And Adrian, I really know, apart from being abroad and that, I don't actually listen to your show as much as I did because it's gone down in the subject.
So what, where is, hang on for 1 second, Terry, I have to ask you this, where is the shame in discussing this topic? Where is the, are you embarrassed about yourself? Are you embarrassed about...
No, I'm not about, no, I'm very proud of myself, very, very proud. But I mean, that Shelby, Jeremy, I mean, be reasonable now. He really now, he pulls the biscuit out of the hat.
Well, no, this has nothing to do with Jeremy.
No, I know.
Well, okay, stay there for 1 second. Okay, hang on for 1 second, Terry. Susan, you're on FM104. How are you, Susan? Hello, Susan.
Adrian, how's it going?
Grand, thank you, Susan.
Hi, Adrian.
Now, Susan, a lot of people don't like even discussing this. In fact, I'm being told I'm filthy for even raising this matter. You have no problem admitting that you do it.
No, of course not. And everybody does it. And people who say they don't do it are lying.
Oh, my God. I can't. Look, she's not even from our country.
It doesn't matter. I'm a human being. Everybody plays with themselves, Terry, even you.
Listen,
you don't need to tell half of Dublin if you don't want to, but come on now.
I have 2 dogs, and they don't even do it. And they're dogs. They've been neutered and spayed.
My boy dogs lick themselves all the time.
I beg your pardon?
And I teach my husband that if he could lay it down and lick himself, he probably would too.
He possibly would, because that's the standard you seem to come across as.
So what, are you implying that this woman is some sort of a dirty trollop because she plays with herself?
Yes, she's an American slapper. Now, I don't like
you're entitled to your opinion, but I think you're an Irish liar. Everybody plays with themselves.
No, I don't have the need to.
Oh, so you just get laid all the time? Well, good for you then.
I have class, distinction and class, and I'm very proud of myself. And I'm also very proud to be Irish. I'm not one of those touchers.
You're lying.
No, I'm afraid I'm not. I know my anatomy. I know my anatomy inside out.
How can you know it if you've never touched it?
I can see it in the mirror. I have the sight of my eyes, thank God. You wouldn't.
Oh, so you look at yourself in the mirror? See, I've done that, and I don't think it's very pretty, so I don't like to look at it, but I do play with it.
Well, that is maybe as it is, but then again, I can look because I have something to admire.
Oh,
okay, Susan, what do you make of this survey that shows that 64% of women under the age of 30 now masturbate regularly, but only 15% will ever admit it? Now, you've no problem admitting it to us because we're total strangers. You're a regular caller from America. But would you admit it to family and friends?
Well, absolutely, because everybody does it. It's a natural, human thing. And my girlfriends and I do discuss masturbating, and I also discuss it with one of my male friends. We were talking about him actually playing with a vibrator the other day, and I asked him what it's like for a man to play with a vibrator because I couldn't quite wrap my head around that. But he said he put it, probably this is getting into a little TMI for radio, sorry.
No, go on. It's midnight here. You're grand. It's middle of the day where you are, but it's midnight here.
He said that one of the ladies that he is dating came over for the weekend, and he had a rabbit, and so he left it out on his bed, and she could masturbate while he was making dinner or whatever. And they thought it was really hot that they were masturbating with each other in the house, but they haven't, had sex yet. So then when she went to go take a bath, she wanted him to do it so that she could think of him doing that. So he said he kind of put it up on his taint and then sort of like at the base of his penis, and it vibrated, but he couldn't really get off with it because it was too intensive a feeling. But apparently there are vibrators made for men, so he's going to look into buying one of those.
All right, fair enough. Okay. Now, Terry, you obviously you cringe to hear even a woman talk like that, do you?
I can't, honestly. She's no lady, that's for sure. She's not like me. She's no lady. She ain't no lady. No, she may no. She may do what she wants with dinner and everything else.
You ain't no lady, Susan.
No, she goes to talk about her pastrami somewhere else.
I am actually a lady. I'm just not as shy or repressed or whatever as you are, Terry, and I'm also not a liar.
And if you had allowed me to finish what you said about the mirror, I am neither shapeless, but I am shameless. Not like you.
Okay, let me bring in some more calls. Darren, you're on FM104. How are you, Darren?
How's it going?
Grand, thanks, Darren. You reckon every woman does it, do you?
Oh, you know idea. The number's far higher than 30%. I know. According to the survey, 64% do it, but only 15% will ever admit it. Yeah, I think the admitting bit is probably a bit lower than that. That lady there from America, fair play to her now. I admire a girl like that, so nothing to...
Now, it's funny, for this conversation, Darren, it took a woman from Arizona to ring us to admit it. And but again, Susan, the question that I asked you is, would you admit something like that on radio in Arizona?
We don't actually get to talk about stuff that you guys talk about, but yes, absolutely I would, because everybody does it.
I have friends, girlfriends, who freely admit it and discuss it and talk about it in groups, all about it, about the latest toy that they've bought. I've bought toys for friends of mine who are too embarrassed to go into the shops and buy them themselves. I've gone into Ann Summers and bought them for them. I've gone into other sex shops and bought them for them. And here's another very, very valuable point that nobody seems to remember or think about. Ann Summers is a very, very big chain, and there's loads of shops like that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sell all the products that they sell that are specifically designed for women. Hundreds and thousands of different items and products designed for women, and maybe 4 or 5 designed for men. All those items are not designed for women for nothing. They're designed for women because so many women use them, and they have so much taste and so much variety. The women, that every taste and variety is catered for that they can possibly think of. Now, you need to go into an Ann Summers shop and look on the walls, and then think to yourself, how many people in the world actually, women in the world actually do it?
And according to the survey, it's 64% of women well under the age of 30. But
I've caught former girlfriends doing it, and when I come home from work, I've woken up in the middle of the night. I've caught former girlfriends doing it. I've had discussions with girls who've told me their favourite ways to do it, and I've had women do it freely as part of bedroom activities, and I think it's great. We're always doing it. It's called flicking the bin or playing with the prawn. There's loads of nicknames for it. Friends of mine.
But again, here's the funny thing about this conversation, Darren, is getting women to admit. I mean, the only woman I've had on so far to admit that she does it is a woman from the far side of the world.
I'm fair bloody play to her.
No, I agree with you.
And you see the other lady there, Mrs. Booker from the Bouquet residence, the lady of the house speaker. No disrespect to that woman whatsoever, but I mean, to come on and call that girl the nurse that she called her a couple of minutes ago from across the water and all for nothing. Just because the woman is open-minded and has no problem talking about these things, and she holds her those names, I mean, that's absolutely scandalous. Mrs. Bucket needs to look in her telephone book and see who else she can talk to that has room for a pony, because
that's a man
with that kind of attitude.
That's a man speaking like that.
Yeah, and it's a man who has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge.
You actually call yourself a man.
Yeah, and I have far more experience. Far more experience with the female body and the buttons on it than you have with your body. I can guarantee you that, because if you knew anything about the buttons on your body, you wouldn't be saying the things you do. You clearly haven't pressed all the right buttons on your body, because if you feel Believe me, woman, your world will change within seconds. Your whole life, your future, every outlook you have, knickers that you wear, everything will change.
My life is
press the
changing
right buttons.
now. As I listen, my life is changing. As I
Meaning what? Your life is changing as you listen.
I'm glad to think I've helped you.
Yeah, I feel like going into...
What you need to do is you need to get into
an oxygen mask.
You need to get into Ann Summers on O'Connor Street and get yourself a little...
That shop in Dublin first.
Get yourself a little baby bunny rabbit or a clit tickle or a little butterfly. You like the butterflies?
They're women's.
Get yourself a butterfly. I know what I bought them from.
Darren, I get the feeling this woman wouldn't have a clue what to do with one. Or
I'd love to bring it into the room and have a rabbit there. And a few dildos, a couple of strap-ons, a butterfly, the usual. A little variety, like, just to see what her face would be like. And say to them and say, look, people didn't spend millions researching this, designing them and making them because a small percentage of the females in the world use them. They've done it because there's more females in the world using them than there is men. Clearly. You, yourself, and shameless. It's simple marketing and mathematics, love. It's got nothing to do with your opinion. It's simple marketing and mathematics.
It's everything to do with my opinion. I sent you a text. Everything.
Oh, Mrs. Booker, you should apologise to that lady now from Arizona.
For what?
Because
for calling her shameless, shapeless Susie?
Yeah, because she's not. She's just a woman. She's just a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind. She's just a woman who has an opinion. She's a woman who has.
But like I said to you, the interesting part about this, so far anyway, Darren, is it's taken a woman from the far side of the world to ring and admit that she actually does it.
But I could guarantee you, I could give you the numbers of friends of mine who are women who would gladly come on the radio and tell you all about that toys.
Excuse me?
No problem. They're just not listening to the programme tonight, that's all.
Adrian?
Yes?
What's that article's name?
Sorry?
What's that article's name?
His name is Darren.
Yeah, Darren.
Yes?
Apart from the fact that you certainly don't have the accent of it, could I ask you a very personal question?
Yeah, fire away.
Were your exams in gynecology difficult?
No, you know what my exams were in actually.
Where were you dragged up to go to hospital?
Will I tell you now, as a matter of interest? Will I tell you, will I? I'm going to shock you now, love. I happen to have a degree in engineering. I happen to have a master's in carpentry, and at the moment I'm at the tail end of studying international and Irish law and higher level 8, and I'm one of the top 3 in the colleges. Between the 3 colleges, the Griffith,
good man.
College, Cork, Dublin, and Limerick.
That'll put her in your.
You coming on the other end of the phone, love, and making forming an opinion on me because of my accent is a clear indication of how narrow your mind is.
No, I'm very.
I haven't formed any.
Adrian will say that.
I haven't formed any opinions of you because of your accent.
I'm sure you formed opinions of her because of the way she's going on. But stay there for 1 second.
Adrian, I feel ill. I think I'm going to go.
Why? Because we're talking about masturbation, Terry. Masturbation.
It's impure. Be reasonable.
Masturbation, Terry.
It's impure.
Adrian.
Don't keep using
It's impure. Sorry. Yeah, go on, Darren. Yeah.
You're better off letting her go because I can visualise a heart attack on her end of the telephone before the night is out with this kind of conversation. Let her go and let the other people in who want to tell you what they do when they're flicking their vein and who want to tell you what they're doing with their rabbit.
Now, I've taken a stem at it.
And let her sit at home with her hand on her chest holding her teeth out and her mouth wide open, gobsmacked going, oh my God.
Oh, well, Terry, I reckon you probably should switch off the radio then if you're uncomfortable with us having this conversation.
Exactly. Instead of coming on the radio and criticising a woman who just has an opinion and has...
But stay there for 1 second. Sarah, you're on FM104. How are you, Sarah?
Hello, Adrian. How's it going?
Oh, terribly well, thank you. Hello,
Terry. How's it going?
Hello.
My God, I'm absolutely in shock here. I'm, like, shouting at the phone. Basically, it's normal. Like, in my line of work, I talk about this literally all the time. It's not... What?
I beg your pardon?
In my line of work, I talk about it all the time. It's natural. At least once a day, most women masturbate. And for you to get on the radio and say that you don't, you must be about 80. But, like, so you must have a lot...
Whatever your name is, can I ask you something? What rock do you work under?
I'm not going to say who I work for. There's no need for me to say who I work for.
What rock do you work under?
What fucking planet do you live on? Seriously, how old are you? You're about.
You wouldn't know a decent day's work if you saw us, for God's sake.
Okay, love, okay. You're about 80 and you're trying to tell us that you've never actually flicked yourself. Will you ever stop?
Oh my God, nice. That's lovely talk from a lady.
It is. Come here. Because you speak posh doesn't mean anything, all right? It doesn't mean fucking anything.
Excuse me, I always spoke posh. I was brought up like this. This is my upbringing.
Hang on a minute. It doesn't matter.
The fact that you came from
Sarah, why is it that so many women won't admit that they masturbate? Why is that?
From what I'm gathering, it's like it's associated with porn, and basically that they it's kind of like an embarrassment type of thing. They don't like to, like, lads kind of jeer them, like lads are kind of.
And here's the God's honest truth. We've spoken to you. We spoke to Susan in America, and so far,
it's getting more comfortable. People are talking about the more that it's put out there. Like, I mean, nowadays people are talking about like gay marriages. You know, like it's getting, people are getting more comfortable with it. Like, it's not the way it used to be years ago.
Okay, well, do me a favour. Stay there for 1 second, and Terry, hang on there for a sec. Caroline, you're on FM104. How are you, Caroline?
How you doing, Adrian?
Now, it's Darren you wanted to talk to, was it?
No. What I wanted to say was, at the end of the day, it's a woman's body. And if she wants to do whatever she has to do, flick the bean or whatever, she can. But whether she wants to come out and say that she does it, that's a different thing. But now I've no problem with it. I do it myself.
And you've no problem saying that?
I've no problem saying it.
Okay, so why do you think, Caroline, that there is a shame factor about it, that women just won't admit this? I'm gobsmacked, because you ask men to admit it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I do it. No, what's the problem?
Yeah.
But for women, for some reason, they can't admit it. Why is that?
I think it's embarrassment more than anything. I think they think people are going to judge them. Where, as you said yourself, fellas can come out and they can say, well, that's what I do. I mean, my brother openly admits to having his old hanky-panky up in the room. And as I do say to him, messing with him, I do say, don't do it when I'm in the house, because it's kind of embarrassing, you know, for me to be listening to that. But we joke openly about it, and I'm sure he does probably say she's in there flicking the bean off herself or whatever. But I think because sex years ago, it was it was like secret. It's like women's parts are secret, and you shouldn't openly admit that you touch yourself. And that's why I think women won't come out and say, well, I do it.
Okay, and slowly but surely, on the show tonight, slowly but surely, women are admitting it, but it's like pulling teeth.
We should all just stand up and admit and say, yes, we do it, and it's not dirty, and it shouldn't be frowned upon. It's your body, it's your lady garden. If you want to do it, you do it, because nobody else is watching you or anything.
No, of course they're not, no.
That's your private time with yourself.
And are you shocked, or does it not surprise you at all, to hear that 15% of women, only 15% of women will ever admit to doing this? Only 15%.
It's shocking, it really is, because in this day and age, come on, with all the technology and stuff to kind of spice up, that's out, as that man said, Ann Summers and stuff like that. I mean, people shouldn't be going behind the door. It's not the 1900s. It's starting now to become openly where you can talk to people about your sexuality, as that girl said, gay marriages and stuff like that.
Okay, Terry, let me go back to you for a second. Basically what she's saying is you need to get with the programme, seriously. You need to accept people do this sort of thing.
Adrian, you've children. Are you not ashamed with your children listening to that?
They're probably not listening tonight. No, not really.
No, I wouldn't imagine they are, because they possibly have been brought up with a little bit more ilk and respect than that. I mean, she talks about...
Really, Terry? I mean, seriously, we're talking about masturbation, Terry. It's hardly the dirtiest subject on the planet.
Hang on a second, Adrian, and let's cut to the chase, right? I am a lady, as you know, right? Now, I just want
so you keep saying.
So this lady, her private little garden, can I ask her another personal question? Has she got a cobble-locked or what?
I don't even know what that question's meant to mean, but...
Well, she was the one that emphasised it was her private little lady garden. Now, if it's private, keep it private.
But it is private. I'm not doing it in front of anyone.
No, well, you shouldn't discuss it. What goes on in the bedroom...
Get with the times, will you? It's happening everywhere. You're burying your head in the sand. As if my mother promotes anything like that. It's nothing to do with the way you were brought up or anything. It's your private part. Go away.
Well, then keep it private and keep your hands in it.
Why are you on the phone if you're so prude about this sort of thing? Obviously, you do it yourself if this is the case.
No, I'm not. Excuse me.
Why are you on the phone then and making it sound something like the 1900s?
I sent a text in and said I was appalled, and that's it.
Yeah, appalled. Well, keep your own little opinion to yourself. Everyone is doing it.
Just like
so am I. So don't tell me that I wasn't brought up.
I don't know who you're speaking to.
Don't tell me that I was brought up wrong. My parents don't. Not dragged.
You see, Terry, what I don't get about this conversation is how you can, even in your head, think that other women who might masturbate are disgusting, are horrible.
I don't believe you've just used that word.
It's ridiculous.
I'm going to keep saying it, Terry. Masturbate.
Please don't use that word.
Self-pleasure. Call it whatever you want.
Oh, my God.
They're your parts, and you do what you want with them.
Exactly, and that's what I do. I keep them
exactly.
Yes, I don't discuss it in there.
But why would you condemn other people for doing it? You said it's disgusting.
It is disgusting, and I tell you something. You certainly have no respect for yourself to use that word over and over and over again. On
Masturbation.
Masturbation.
Oh, Adrian,
go on, say it, Caroline.
Masturbation.
Oh, my God.
Yes, you swore I was worshipping Satan the way you're going on.
Katie!
Oh.
Hiya, how are you?
Hiya, Katie. Say the word, Katie.
Masturbation.
That's the word. Sarah, say the word. Oh, Sarah's not there. Sorry. Anyway, Katie, what did you want to say?
I just want to say to Terry, I'm trying to figure out how is it disgusting if a lady masturbates, because it's very normal. Like, everyone does it. And
why though? And Terry, for all I know, you might masturbate yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're in the 85% of people or women who don't admit it.
Yeah.
Could that be true, Terry?
Oh. Gone, is she?
Oh. You're not talking to me, Terry? Oh, you'd have to hang up. Why would you hang up? Oh, she's gone, yeah. Why would she do that?
She's ashamed of herself.
Is there anybody else like that out there? Seriously. What country are we living in now? And honestly, I'm shocked. I got another text. Now, she said she sent one in earlier on. And I got another text saying, I will be reporting you to the Radio Commission for this vile conversation.
Oh.
Seriously, and I'm not joking you, that's the sort of shit we get in when we talk about stuff like this.
It's mad.
What sort of a country are we living in?
It's completely normal. Like, I'm with my fella nearly 4 years now, like, and he knows exactly that I masturbate, and I do it in front of him sometimes, and it's normal, So.
Why do you and let me ask you, Katie, why do you think there is that only 15% of women, and I'll be honest with you, we really have struggled to get callers on air to admit to doing this. It's not like we're asking them to admit to something bizarre. Why do you think that there is such a shame factor?
I think maybe it's to do with like the way it was years ago, such a shameful thing, back in the day, like if you touched yourself or something, like for women to do and all, it's looked down on, and I think that it's just a lot of people think that it's all over the place now, it's in porn, and the way she was saying that she thinks that people are sluts and all because they're doing it. I don't see how you're a slut if you're touching yourself. You know what I mean?
Now, I do know what you mean. I'm just shocked, firstly, that that there are people like that who are... we're after ringing one woman back a moment ago to ask her to... after sending in a vicious complaint, we've asked her, would she talk to us? And the answer we got was... in fact, Terry has already said she's writing a complaint, but the lady who who answered the phone when we asked her to talk to us. I would not discuss such filth, is what she said.
Yeah, see, a lot of people think that it is filth because it's not a lady thing to do kind of thing. It's like, you'd be ashamed to say that you fart in front of your boyfriend or something. Like, it's kind of like that. A lot of people think like that, but it's not at all.
Okay, stay there for once. Sorry, Terry, you're back on. Did you actually hang up on me?
I did, yes. There's only so much someone can take. I mean, I am a lady, and I obviously thought you were but a gentleman, but obviously you're no gentleman.
And you're typing a complaint as we speak, are you?
Oh, I just don't know. Look, really and truly, I'm not prepared to listen to this in my ears. In my home.
Oh, I'm not a lady because I masturbate. Is that it?
Yes, you're dirty.
Oh, oh my God.
Dirty, perverted, and this is like...
come on, how can you call somebody perverted for playing with them? Terry, how can you call somebody perverted for masturbating?
Live on a radio station, live. You're discussing porn.
Lies. I think you're the only one lying here, love. I think you're the only lady that doesn't masturbate.
I beg your pardon? I don't what?
I said you're probably the only lady that doesn't masturbate.
Terry, have you ever played with yourself?
Oh, I will actually. I would seek this out to the last. And
you should try it. You should try it.
Seeking it out. I have every chance of seeking it out. I will not let this go. No, I won't let this go.
Sorry, Terry, I asked you a question. Are you not going to...
How dare you, by the way, Adrian Kennedy, say...
How dare I ask you the question?
How dare you say to me on the radio, are you not talking to me now? If I feel like talking to you, I will. And if I don't, I have the goddamn right not to.
Terry.
Oh, my God.
Terry.
Yes?
Have you ever masturbated?
That's stuff for the bedroom, right? And it's nothing to do with you. I heard a conversation last night between yourself and that Jeremy fella, right? And he wanted to know. I mean, I really don't know what standards you're trying to set for children and everybody else.
No, this is an adult program. We've always it's always been an adult program.
Be reasonable. I mean, they're talking about the Catholic Church and everything else. We don't have to. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That chap, Jeremy, referred to you out loud on the radio live. Had you got a dog's biting thing in your trousers?
Had I got a what?
You got a dog bites.
What the hell are you on about? Seriously?
There's meat on the outside.
Sorry, which one of you is pissing yourself laughing there, for God's sake?
Me.
Oh, God.
Okay,
We're talking about Davina McCall. Then you referred to having...
Oh, yeah, I was saying Davina McCall was hot. Yeah, I said she's gorgeous, yeah.
He referred and said he didn't like sitting beside a man with a bee.
Oh, with a bee? Oh, with a boner?
Oh, now that's true.
Sorry, girls, if you weren't listening last night, we were talking about Davina McCall, and I said how hot she is, and we were having a conversation, and then Jeremy said, I don't want to be sitting beside a fella with a boner. And sorry, Terry, that was vile as well, was it?
I tell you, really, your standards out. No,
that was vile as well. Okay, look, hang on for a second, Terry. Hang on.
Won't let this go.
Terry, have you ever played with yourself? And why won't you answer my question?
Because that's my own business.
But is that a yes or a no?
But she has.
I mean, I'm assuming, listening to you talking, that it's such a vile thing that you probably haven't, have you?
Is this 20 questions or what is it?
No, it's just, that's what we do on this show. We have discussions.
Mm-hmm.
You're not answering the question, no?
We did, right? I'm not, no. I'll tell you one thing, you certainly haven't played with me and you never will. You'll never get that. Never. Do you hear me? Never. Now do you hear me talking to you, Adrian? Now do you hear me? I always commended you and said, yes, you were the bad guy, did well for himself. You came from an estate in Bally.
Where are we going with this?
You have moved up in the world, but let's face it.
Here, Terry, even in Ballybrack we have sex and we play with ourselves.
Adrian, be reasonable. You can take the horse out of the stable, but you can never take the stable out of the horse.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what she's on about. Hang on. Paul, you're on FM104. How are you, Paul?
Paul, how are you doing, Adrian?
How are you, Paul? What do you want to say on this?
30 Terry, as long as there's red blood running through your veins, you've too much Pinot Grigio going through your veins at the moment, to be honest with you now. It's absolutely... Adrian, I was at a wedding with you recently.
Okay.
Okay. And I was actually talking about bullshit when I was drunk with you.
Oh, that's what goes on. Was this like last weekend?
It was indeed, yeah.
Oh, right, very good. Yeah.
Fair enough. But see this, Terry, excuse me, I'm not going to start bullshitting now me, but I mean, Terry, 95% of women masturbate.
Well, according to our survey, it's not. It's 64%, Paul.
64%? No, 64%. Adrian, now we're talking to
sorry, girls, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry's after hanging up again.
Jesus.
Paul, you reckon most women do it. Why is there such a shame factor, Paul?
Adrian, there's no shame factor whatsoever.
No, maybe for you there isn't, but for women there seems to be.
Well, two women around me now they'll get on the phone and they will swear down to the Bible that it's a taboo. Basically, it is a taboo.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out why it is such a taboo. Why are so many women just ashamed to admit that they do it? I don't get it, and I don't get why people would complain about us having this conversation. I don't get why the like of Terry would be threatening to make complaints to the Broadcasting Commission because we're even discussing this.
It's because Terry's a prude, and it's as simple as that. It's that simple. It's because Terry is a prude, and Terry has too much wine in her now at this stage, and she's just winding you up at this stage. That's the only reason. That's the only reasonable explanation I can come up with.
All right, let me just bring in one last call. Sarah, you're on FM104. How are you, Sarah?
I'm grand, Adrian. How are you?
You're proud to admit that you masturbate.
Definitely.
No bother to you.
Yeah, no, but it's not as if I'm doing it with my curtains open. You know?
No, that'll be a different story altogether. Yeah.
It's a different story. It's in the privacy. If it's in the privacy around, we're women. You know what I mean? It's better than going out if you and banging different men at the weekend. You know what I mean? If I'm horny, I'll go to my bedroom and I'll masturbate.
And when you hear people like Terry, and well, not just Terry now,
Terry's living back in the 1840s or something.
But when you hear people like her with that sort of attitude, you know, basically saying that it is wrong, what do you make of that sort of attitude? That
I think she's been a prude. I have no words for her, really. I mean, like, what age is she? She's in denial, basically. I'd say
she's in denial.
Herself. Yeah.
One of the questions that I did ask her, but she never answered, was whether or not she does it herself, but she just wouldn't answer the question.
She is mastering. That's why she won't answer the question.
Why are so many women afraid to admit this?
Why is that? Well, think about it, right? Men do it all the time. Like men are proud to talk about it.
Absolutely, it's no bother to a man.
So why is it such a taboo that women can't talk about?
And that's exactly what we're trying to find out. I'm trying to understand why there's and I don't know if we're ever going to understand the answer to it. That Terry one is saying that it's disgusting and dirty. So if that's the case, would sex not be dirty? Like, has she never even had sex? Seriously, because she's going on like she wouldn't even do anything, says that texter. Fair play to you discussing this, Adrian. She's the funniest I've heard in a long time. I'm breaking my heart laughing. Keep up the good work, says Robbie. Adrian, I'm laughing myself in the car. This is the funniest thing I've heard. Ask her, is she a virgin? I never. That was the question I wanted to ask her, actually, and I forgot to. Good God, God doesn't want us to have any fun. For this is the will of God, your sanctification. Where's that person going with that? So I'm just have to get in some religious lecture here. No, makes no sense. Adrian, it's a fact that if a man doesn't release regular sperm, it dies and can make him infertile and cause cancer. What is he meant to do if he hasn't a girl? Yeah, no problem with men admitting it. And one last one. I think it's always been a taboo subject. As we can see, decades ago, women used to be thrown into the Magdalen laundries for sex outside wedlock, sexual activity, etc. And it must have fully worn off the taboo around women, or must not have fully worn off the taboo around women and masturbation. Thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions.